Dr. Ellen Karuga is the managing director of a company called Vista Prime Solutions Limited. She is also the director of Tech at AI Kenya. She'll tell us all what all these things are. Dr. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Welcome to the hot seat of the Situation Room.
Thank you.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
CT will give you the day's proverb. Now, your job is to listen to the proverb,
Okay.
internalize the proverb, and then you do your algorithms, and you give us your interpretation of the proverb. The proverbs this week are from
the Republic of the Gambia. Yes. People get fed up even with honey.
People get fed up even with honey.
Even with honey.
What I decode from that
Yes, see what you did there.
is that you can get too much saturated with something which is good, which leads to not appreciating the value of whatever it is. Yes.
So, take everything in small measures.
Yes.
Spot on. Spot on.
Am I right?
Moderate.
Spot on.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Moderation
Yes.
is the word, is the word. Okay. Tech at AI Kenya. Let's start with that. What does that mean?
It's an institution that deals with AI and brings about, especially the young people who are delving into AI, development, machine learning, and everything that is tech. It is more of an incubation for AI. People.
What's AI?
Artificial intelligence.
Yeah, what's that?
AI, in simple terms, is computer application systems that are built to mimic human intelligence. So you have something that is put together that can think and make a decision, just like a human. That is AI.
Don't all computers do that?
No.
When you ask it 2 plus 2, it acts like 2. It does the 2 plus 2.
Computers do 2 plus 2, but AI will give you different answers. Like, if you ask a computer, what is 2 plus 2? That's 4. If you tell it, what if it's not 4? AI will go a step further and tell you 2 plus 2 can be this, or 1 plus 1 is 10, because it will look at the best 10 computing. So what AI does, it goes beyond the direct preset answers. It goes beyond just what it is taught to do what we call logic thinking.
Okay.
Yes.
And it learns this logic from humans.
Yes, it is something that is preset by humans, but it also has an avenue of it saying, if you go to A, you'll get B. If you go to C, you'll get D. But in case you don't find Z, what do? Think and create Z. So it goes a step further and does computation on its own, as much as it's using existing data. Yes.
So you feed it the initial fodder.
Yes.
Then thereafter, are we saying that the intelligence that has been created from the onset then has been created in such a way that whatever other option you want to find, that intelligence now goes on to, it creates it for itself? Is that what we're saying?
Yes, what it does, it's let's talk about it like an aeroplane. It has its own space, and you've told it fly from Kenya to New York. But in AI, instead of following the path, you've also told it, depending on what you'll see, you can detour and go to Dubai first, go to Seychelles, go to Australia and tour the world. So what AI does, it looks at not just the data set that you've created. It will look into every other thing. It will look into other spaces and see what somebody said and make a decision. Was it right? Was it wrong? So it has that capability of going beyond what is preset to check what is there available in the wide web.
It's recreating a brain.
Yes.
What's the advantage of that?
It does a lot, especially for research and things like collecting information. So you have like the healthcare. There's something done in India, another one done in Germany, another one done in Australia. It would take very many years for somebody, one researcher, to just go to India, even with time, go to Germany, go to Australia, come to Africa, do everything. But once that information is available, a machine will collect, analyze, and give a result. So it cuts on the time. It is more reliable and efficient.
Okay.
Yes.
So in the context of Tech at AI Kenya, so how do you bring all these things to Kenya to start incubating these young thinkers or new thinkers?
What we do, we introduce this and collaborate with universities. There are 3 types of AIs. There is what we call the simple AI. There is the general AI, and there is the super AI, which nobody has gone to. So with the simple one, it's a step. Read like the face recognition, the way we do biometrics. Look at the face, recognize, open the door. That is simple AI. And then we have the general AI, where now we have things like Chat, GTP, and everything else that people are using nowadays, where it goes one step ahead of recognizing, looking for other information, and giving you a data set that has a lot of information. Also, in general, we also have what we have text to image or audio. So you can get the text, and if it's horse, it can give you a horse, a physical horse which is running and doing everything. So there are many things. And then there's the super AI, which is now the future of AI, where we are looking at having a total machine doing the most intelligent things. Right now, AI has no empathy. So whether it's a robot or anything, I cannot look at Eric and say, you look sad.
Yeah.
So
Let me not slap you today. Although the program tells me slap this guy.
So that's the future, where we are looking at now having the total, apart from the intelligence, having all the other emotions of a human being in AI. So we normally pick young people and group them into what they are good at. There are those who are good at robotics, very good techies who, once you give them something, they want to, the way boys want to make a car, make it move. Those one go into the simple AI. There are those who want to go into now thinking, what if this information is not right? How can I put it back? Now, that goes into the general AI. So that's how we normally categorize the people we are picking.
Do girls like these things?
Unfortunately, the societal norms in Kenya have classified IT as a man's job. And we are trying to break that barrier. A research was done that when you do children 10 years and below, they have no bias. They want to become Elon Musk, they want to become doctors, they want to become pilots. But now, come to the age of teenage, all the way to the young adults, society grooms them. Eric takes the son to the garage with him, shows him how a man should work. Indu takes the daughter to wherever she is and shows her this is how we are going to cook. So we form that bias in our children. And that is where now you find there is something that is not breaking at all. And we need now to break those biases.
Start breaking it and start going to the garage.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah. Okay. So how do we introduce it? And where are we saying we are to look at the Kenyan society and are we seeing, I would probably say, obviously, we're seeing that more young women, more girls are getting into this space. Girls are techies, girls are into all of this today. But are we saying that there's still a place where there's still a challenge to getting everybody to open up and say, well, come into this space? Because many have said this is the future. This is where the world is, not even where it's going. This is where the world is today.
One thing that has opened the tech industry to the ladies and to young girls is the content creation, which is a very good thing. But we are still having disparities when it comes to programming, when it comes to engineering. We still have girls shying away from such things. But I'm happy that some institutions like Safaricom have a very strong agenda on making sure there's a 50-50 on women in technology, which is good. So we need to do more, have incubation workshops, tell the girls from a very young age so that they don't form that bias later. When they're young, it's very easy to form them. Let them see what they can do. 2, we also need more role models because they are not there. So you go to a tech meeting. I also go to a tech meeting. I'm a Sage business partner. And I find myself as the only woman director.
Really?
Yes.
Is that a good thing?
It is a good thing because you can point your daughter to me and tell her that, yes, there is a woman in IT. But it is also something that needs to be broken because everyone will assume you've been sent. And you have to assert yourself as a voice in that space. More women are coming up, but we still have a parity where we find that women in tech, even from the very low point, is about 25% of what is there. Yes.
You know, the thing that I always find interesting, everything about AI, simple, general, I get it, I understand it, super, I don't get. The emotions part. You see, it brings in the question of where do human emotions come from? What is it in our structure, in our brain, in our body that come together? Which direction do the neurons go to? What do they combine with to produce emotions? I mean, I've watched movies where AI is supposed to think, and you know how it is, they end up taking over the world. But to what end, really? Even if it could be done, to what end? That really is the thing that I keep churning in my head, and I never seem to
understand it.
Well, it doesn't, I don't click. To what end?
It's a box that is not opened yet, but it is heading there. It's only there in the science fiction movies, but it is heading there. But one thing comes into mind, the ethical issue of AI, that if you allow it to think and get maybe its own reasoning, what if it goes to the extreme end and decides to do the wrong thing?
Yes.
Who are you going to sue? What if it decides that, yes, I have my own mind and I think killing you is the right thing?
Yes.
So those are the ethical issues that need to be checked before we get to the super AI and have bodies that regulate. Because even right now, you'll Google something, you'll want some information, it will give you so much. True, half-truths, and total hallucinations. That's what AI does, because it's not specific to whoever who created it. It goes beyond the comfort zone and looks at what Latif did, what you did. Everybody does it. So we need to have serious ethical bodies, which are still not yet there, to just have somebody to monitor what is the truth. Because you can have somebody pushing an agenda and sponsor all AI companies to push that agenda.
Oh, yeah.
What happens then?
Question.
You have one singular voice saying this is the right way. So we need to look at that. Ethics is a big thing in AI. Yes.
Looking at, again, coming back and looking at Kenya and saying that there's so many operations where people are using AI to create, so many things. Where would you say Kenya is today in this particular space, whereby it's using new technologies for the advancement of economy, advancement of different sectors? Are we just at the beginning where things are starting to happen, or quite developed?
We are quite ahead, and I'm doing this stating facts research, not what I think. Kenya has been placed at position 5. As of 2022, 2023, we moved to position 4. So the first being South Africa, second is Egypt, third is Nigeria, fourth is Kenya. Unfortunately, Kenya and Nigeria change positions every now and then. A new technology comes, Kenya goes to number 3. Nigeria starts something, Kenya comes back. So it's been almost, we've been competing
So we
with
are tying
Nigeria
at
a
number
lot.
3.
Yeah. Yes.
Let's put it that way.
It's either as or that, but Morocco was there, but it dropped because it failed to pick the 5G. It's not done, so that one made it drop to position 6. But you can see we are at a very good space in Kenya. And one thing that Kenya has an edge with, the young talent that we have. We have a young generation that is very innovative, that is tech savvy, and that plays a lot to our digital enhancements. It's good that we have young people who can just create content without fear, which is a good thing.
Ellen, just give us an example, because I keep hearing this all the time. We have a young, vibrant, creative, tech-savvy population. Give me examples of where this young vibrancy, tech-savviness has actually been seen.
Especially in our space, maybe you do not see it so much coming out, but let's take an example. You want to do something like a short skit that emphasizes on FGM. You go to the creatives, they'll come up with something and put it on YouTube and it goes.
Yep.
That is still digital.
Yeah.
Number 2, APIs. You see these small things that I need something that connects to my iPhone. I need something that does an application that translates the Bible from NIV to my local language without doing so much, maybe just a specific verse for my mother to understand. So you have young people doing those small plugins. You may not know them, but as in tech, that's what we use. And most of those young people, you just have to give them an idea. Don't pressure them. They are not your typical 8 to 5 people. Whatever time they'll do, whether at night or they'll come up with a solution. So we have those young entrepreneurial minds, which I find very amazing, that you can just pitch an idea and they'll even come with another idea, which is much better.
So give us, practically from your own experience, what you've seen, how does that cycle move from the moment you have a challenge and you're thinking I need a solution to this challenge to identifying the right young person, young mind to do this, to giving them the brief, to them challenging you with the solution that they come up with? Just walk us through it.
What happens mostly, the challenge comes from mostly as us, we do enterprise software to Standard Media Group, to other big corporates. And they come up with questions of, I have this, like my production here, and I have my people who are in the streets speaking stories, and I want those stories in real time. But I don't want them to use their gadgets because this is confidential information. I need a gateway that just picks and drops, and it comes now directly
to my server
and does not even keep a record. So somebody has to come with that need, and we'll get our tech team, simulate it and deploy it. So most of the needs are driven by the market.
Okay.
Some of them are also suggestions. So we do a lot of reading and collaboration. And we tell them this technology has been used in Switzerland. I think we can use it here. This technology is in use in the US. I think we can use it here. So those are the things that we normally take. But what helps us to identify, especially the people who are doing it, we have most of these things that we attend, which are called hackathons, where you're coming up with something, coding. You're just told, code something in the next 2 hours and show us what you've come with. So you're able to identify talent from such. And we have schools which do a lot of coding. We have code universities also, which has very good IT students. So one thing I've noted with Kenyan students, IQ, they're good. We only need a space. Yes.
And they'll understand when you say this is the challenge and I need a solution, they immediately get it.
They immediately get it. And one thing I love about, I don't know, there's so much about the younger generation, which people speak negatively about.
Yep.
But funny enough, in the IT world, we prefer them. Why? They challenge us. You'll tell them, I need it done this way. And they'll come and say, oh, but this looks flat. Why can't we add some color? You see, they're coming up with something else.
Right.
Which adds value to whatever it is. And we need such a generation in innovation. You need somebody who is thinking beyond what you've just given them. So for our generation, the X and Y generation, you'll give them a task, they'll perform.
So essentially you're saying that this generation, AI is still made for this generation because it allows them that freedom to explore and to let their minds roam. Again, with everything wonderful, there has to be a but. How then does Kenya propel itself? Because as you have said, we have this wonderful foundation, we have the human resource. How then do we propel ourselves to number one?
Now, that one needs a very strong collaboration between the government and especially the government and the private sector. We need to come up with synergies that can incorporate these young men. We have too many graduates doing nothing. And unless they are picked by like us in the market and tell them, I need this, that idea will remain with that young person. They'll not develop it because first they need to be funded. So when you give them that job, you'll pay them.
Yeah.
And that's motivation for them to come up. So the government needs to put more emphasis on digital economy. They need to. Another thing that they need to do is remove the discrepancy that is there when it comes to digital footprints. The people in urban centers have the digital infrastructure, but we need that infrastructure deep there in Mount Elgon.
In Mulot.
Yes, we need it there so that the villagers also, everyone, we are Kenyans, or we are African, or we need to have that digital footprint everywhere. So the government needs to do a lot, especially on the infrastructure. Do a lot when you say infrastructure, fast electricity, two, fiber optic or satellite. There is what they launched, Taifa 1.
Yeah.
I believe it was meant to go and sort the satellite issue of connectivity. Number two, we also need to have now other things which are not dependent on the internet, which I think we are the pioneers in the continent. M-Pesa. Somebody in the village doesn't need internet to transact with M-Pesa. So we need more of such solutions that are not dependent on the infrastructure also.
Right.
Yes.
We're having a conversation about innovation, advancing digital spaces, and the role of women and the space of women in this. Dr. Ellen Karuga is the Managing Director of Vista Prime Solutions, and she's also a Director of Tech at AI Kenya.
We hear a lot of things, there's an app for this, there's an app for that, there's somebody behind it, somebody has developed this or that, the other thing. And what's the encouragement to have those done? Because, it's amazing things that you can do, take you from point A to point B. And this is still within this space. And looking at Kenya specific, what's the support that connects the idea to the actual processing of the thing and then having it out there for the public to consume?
Most of those apps are created because of a need. Once you see somebody putting an app, maybe a filter for the iPhone.
Yep.
Because you need better photos, you need to pick. Your phone is actually now your office. As you're going there picking a story as standard, that is your office. So those are market-driven needs, which are very important because they not only create a space for the young people to express themselves, it is also a space for monetizing whatever you have. So one thing that apps have done is that they've created another parallel market of employment, which is very good because for most developers, you do not employ them. You just give them the piecework, they do, deliver, go to the next one. So you find that they are making money from different sources, and that helps grow the economy So it's one of those areas that have really boosted the IT technology worldwide, not just in Kenya. So apps development is something that is big.
Is the education sector supporting the present day scenario? I'm imagining somebody who is in IT today and graduated from university in the year 2000. Oh my God, it's a totally different age. 20 years ago, it's not even the same galaxy in terms of what's happening with. So do you find that there needs to be constant learning and relearning of, new information? What happens to that somebody who went to school 20 years ago and is operating today?
Well, that makes most of us. One thing with IT, it's the most dynamic field you've ever seen. It changes not in an year. IT changes even in a week. A week can be a very long time for you to even catch up. So there's a lot of upskilling in IT. The beauty of it is that so long as you're practicing, the emerging technologies will always be up to date. So most of the things that the people in tech do is make sure you're practicing. You're doing something, you're coding, and that's how we find those apps coming, because you don't want to be left behind. Do something with your knowledge, it will find someone and upload it somewhere. It will find somebody to consume it. So you must upskill. That one, there's no go between that. You must upskill. Yes.
We've seen very many organizations or, just groups of people saying we are supporting women to get into STEM. We are supporting women to get into tech, into innovation. Is it bearing fruit? Are all these efforts bearing fruit? Can we actually sit back and say, we are seeing more and more of this? We are seeing a greater entry of the girl child into this space of STEM. And not just entry, but growth.
I believe the fruits are there and they are growing, albeit slowly. But the initiatives that have been there to enable women come up with tech are bearing fruit. But what I'd want us to do as a nation, as Africa, as the world, is start doing this early enough. Because you need to inculcate. If somebody wants to take STEM subjects, you have to build the interest at a very early age. You cannot come and start it when somebody is already past high school and university, yet they did not even take the basic courses that are needed to be in the tech world or even in the STEM environment. So there is a need to empower our children, help them remove the bias. As the research said, anyone below 10 does everything well, without whether science, maths, but now comes the issue of conditioning the mind and the society. That's when you find now they start thinking, no, I think I'm supposed to be doing more of this than this. So we need to start it at an earlier age so that we bridge the gap that is there. But the efforts that are coming up are actually bearing fruit, because we've seen women, even in the grassroots, being given a bit of literacy on technology, and they use it well. They make their own baskets. They're shown, and somebody helps them pick a website, and they upload whatever they've done, and they sell. So it's picking, but more needs to be done.
Power of example, and the role that would play. So, for instance, I'm just thinking, every time we're talking about tech and innovation and we're looking at examples, we're looking at male examples. Oh, this guy was in Stanford, he's in Harvard, they dropped out, they did it in their father's and mother's garage, and it's men. Even if you look at, with the one who is placed up there, the lady at Facebook, what's her name? Sandberg. Yeah. She is not the founder. She is somebody who comes in to support the founder.
Yes.
So how can we get more examples, or maybe just start highlighting those stories, even in the country, of women in tech who are making big strides, whether they're young or old?
I think spaces that you're giving us, like this one you've given me today, go a long way in encouraging women to join the tech world. I've had spaces in media, and a lot of girls have reached out to me. A lot of parents who, especially men who have daughters, have reached out and said, I'd want you to mentor my daughter. And those are good things. So we need to do more campaigns. We need to give them more spaces. They are there. My problem is that women do not amplify themselves well. They hardly package themselves.
Why?
I don't know. I think we need to learn from the men. We still have a long way in that. But knowing that our nature, being that we are naturals, we are mothers, we are wives, we have a lot in our baskets. So most women do not amplify themselves. Yet I know so many exemplary women who are doing great things. So we need to have those spaces and encourage women to come out. I find it a bit sad that when I even invite fellow women in tech, nobody wants to speak. They're like, no, I want
Speak in a public forum?
Yes, speak in a public forum. They want to be there, but sit at the back, smile at the photos.
You want to be modest.
Yes.
Is this something you see with, say, women who you could say are part of your generation, or is it also with the younger generation?
Oh, mostly it's the X and Y generation and the older ones. The younger generation, I love the generation. Those guys are amazing because they have no fear. You give them a chance to just sit, they'll stand on the seat. They'll not just sit. So they'll just stand on the seat and make sure everybody sees them. So it's a good thing that we have a generation that is not fearful. I think coming from post-colonial, things have slowly changed.
We are shedding that.
We are shedding that fear. So,
What's your story, Dr. Karuga?
oh, my story is long.
The summarized version.
Yes.
So you are Dr. Ellen Karuga,
Yes.
woman in tech.
Yes.
Okay. Take us. Let's go backwards. What's your professional background?
I started quite early. I was a teenage mother at 18. And when motherhood comes and family comes, something stopped. So my journey started with what society taught me to be. I started with secretarial. I have very many papers. I can type like...
Without looking.
But the goodness is that as we were doing the secretarial duties, it was just a step that took me. That's when computerization was coming. And I did the packages. And something clicked in me. It's been a long
Literally.
journey.
You understood those packages?
Yes.
Those things were difficult to understand.
You remember introduction to first as we even did DOS and
DOS
then
and
Windows.
DBase.
Yes, DBase 3. It's quite a journey, but that is what opened. Once I started it there, it opened something in me, and I got an interest in tech. So I did that and immediately did a diploma, and then went and did the Bachelor of Science, and I was fully immersed in tech, Master's, PhD.
You did a Bachelor of Science in what?
In computing and information systems.
Okay.
So when I give my journey, and I normally tell people, it's good to start where you are. I started as a secretary. I'm a software engineer. The only barrier that is there is you not starting. Most people do not start, and that's unfortunate. They're waiting for that, moment to do something. And
Because
it will never
everything has got to align,
Yeah,
but you don't just start.
It's not just get up and
Actually,
go.
you do.
You don't just start. Things have got to be.
Actually, you do.
They came up with the phrase "get your ducks in a row" for a reason.
Yes.
Cross all your T's and dot your I's.
What you need to find out is the people who came up with that, why did they favor ducks being in a row?
Yes.
But remember, ducks actually do walk in a row.
Yeah.
They do.
Look at the way ducks walk.
Yeah.
But I think the example Dr. Karuga is talking about, that is the example.
It's a good one.
You see, you don't limit yourself to where you find the space you find yourself in, and then you don't define yourself also with that space. You understand that there's more that can be done, and you kickstart and you move.
Yes.
And you don't stop, you keep moving.
Yes.
Yes.
And knowing that I've done this as a mother and a wife, I'd want to encourage, especially the ladies who make an excuse of, I have children, I'm married. I'm still married.
And you still have children?
I still have children.
Yes.
I still cook.
Okay.
I still do everything that it just takes somebody to move out of the comfort zone and follow.
We talk about barriers all the time, the glass ceiling, women and the glass ceiling and the opportunities. Do you think those are justified, or are there times when people, as you say, you're looking for something to give a reason why not? So you use all those, buzzwords and terms and terminologies, or actually are there barriers?
There used to be barriers for the other generations. But with the current generations, I think the parents now, the children we are bringing up, most parents have broken those barriers. And I'm sure if I come to your house, there is no favorites. This is a boy, this is a girl. So those barriers are slowly being eroded. That being said, there's still what we call time. Women still have that holds them down, because when it comes to being a mother, at times you have to shed off a few of those other responsibilities. So one thing that I ask ladies to do is always to look for a support system. Don't try to be the supermom, superhero. Get a support system. Let somebody assist you. Get a nanny. Get a sister if you cannot afford a nanny or a cousin. Be tolerant, because half of the problems is intolerance of women. Look at where you're going. Stop focusing on...
Don't major on the minors.
Yes, on the minors. Focus on the bigger things. And life becomes easier. But I feel like the barriers have been broken slowly. Apart from the issue of balancing the home, which is very important, and the career, we are headed in the right direction.
Because it is demanding, is it not? Especially this arena that we speak of. Is it not demanding in terms of a load of things that you must do? This tech space requires everything about your mind. You have to be present, does it not? Is it not demanding?
It is demanding, quite demanding, because especially some of the tech world, let's talk of software and hardware and enterprise software. Most of the upgrades are done at night. Okay? Like even Safaricom or your banks.
They'll tell you we'll be down between 10 p.m.
Yes. So the systems are not auto-updating. There's somebody behind doing those updates. So you can imagine, if you take it as a career, the same way a nurse, a theater nurse works at night, a doctor works at night, and it's allowable. You should also have women allowing themselves to work in the night shift and come and stay with the children or rest during the day. So it's a career like any other. So I don't see a big problem, but it needs a lot of sacrifice. That is one thing I need to tell somebody. There are times we've worked late at night. But look at even your career. At times you're here at 4 to start the morning. So I don't think there is anything so straight if you want to achieve something great. Unless you just want to stick to the 8 to 5 careers, fine. But if you want to move further into the space, it has to have some sacrifices.
You talked about the support that is needed in terms of just from policy and programmatic at government level, right? So let's say the government is very big on the digital economy, creating a digital superhighway. Let's make sure that we have increased connectivity across the country. Let's set up these hubs at it's ward level, right? Yep. At ward level, the IHUBs at ward level. Let's make sure that there's a space that's available, that's well equipped for people, young people, old people, whoever, to come and access and do whatever they're doing. How long do you give this before people start actually seeing that it's a reality? Because we keep hosting these people here. We host the ICTPS, the minister, we host the people from the ICT authority, and tell us, for example, now we have X number of centers. And we're like, yeah.
Digital super.
Have you heard people telling you about it? Have you heard anyone telling? How long do you think it'll take for us to actually see that there's a connection between what the government is doing and what the people are doing, and then the people start driving that demand and pushing the government to accelerate it?
I've read the digital economy paper and their blueprints, and they gave us up to 2027. It is the renewed version. 2023, 2027, 2022, 23 to 2027. And I'm hoping and I'm praying that this will be there, because we've heard that there are hubs in the village, internet in every market. I'm not sure whether your market has one.
Not in every, but many markets.
If I go to the market and I have my gadgets with me, I have internet.
Free Wi-Fi.
Yes.
Free Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Which I've paid for.
No. You've paid for not that one. I'm saying the government free internet for the markets.
Several markets have reported it.
There are those that have.
In several markets.
So we are praying that the government puts emphasis on technology, because it's the one that carries everything, including green energy, green farming. Everything now is based on what technology is going to do.
There's a problem when you proliferate ICT to that degree. The security elements. How sure are we that has actually been taken care of? It's like the so-called free Wi-Fi you get at airports. How safe or how secure are you really? Because everyone has access to it.
Yes. Cybersecurity is one of the most serious and contentious issues worldwide. But one thing I normally tell, especially enterprises, is to ensure that you invest in a secure system. We have very many secure systems. The problem is that the cost is also quite high, because when it comes to cybersecurity, you have to keep updating almost on a daily basis. As much as we are here as programmers, we have the same programmers, including I. I'm an ethical hacker, certified. That means what? Yes.
She's user-friendly.
That's how you make these systems. When you develop a system, you have to give it to the hackers to see whether they can
break through
it, so that you keep bridging that. So that's why we have hackers, and they are ethical hackers, and they are the ones who are not ethical at all.
Yes.
So we need to keep up in cybersecurity. But there are systems which are very safe, have been used, especially the banking systems, health systems. Those ones are quite safe. Military systems, I don't even think you know whether they are there or not. So they are there. But it is something that needs a lot of financial muscle for you to keep.
You know, the thing that ICT and this modern world of communication provides us, it's ease. When we teach competency in it, how much emphasis is actually given to security as well? And when we produce competency in people who understand it and create all this wonderful content, do we also in similar measure produce people who are excellent and who are ethical hackers, such as yourself?
Yes. The syllabus, any syllabus, when you're coding, the first thing you do from the first line, they introduce security, because you cannot do anything up to the last points and leave the gates open. So whatever you're doing, and that is one thing that ICT always focuses on, is that you must always put security first and then operation second. So the first thing is security, then operations. But unfortunately, or fortunately, there is an industry, a very big industry, of people selling now the antiviruses, anti-malware. That's another industry. So their work is to come up with viruses and to hack. So you see, the same way you invest in security guards because a new breed of thugs is coming, and you're putting CCTV and you're putting Razor. It's the same way in the IT world. You're building very secure systems, but there's also a parallel where it's a big market. And that's why it's a big market, because they sell the software to counter this. So it's a rat race. My meat is somebody's prey, not even poison.
Prey.
Yeah, prey. Somebody wants it. There's somebody, whatever I've done, somebody wants to come and prey on it. So it's always, you have to be ahead of the game all the time. Yes.
Where would you see that Kenya is going today? In the steps that have been made, obviously there's places on the continent, but in the steps that have been made to actually contribute significantly as a tech world towards the development of this country, where do you see we going in the next, we talk about 27 as the opening of the digital highway properly, but in terms of really being able to fuel development in this country, where is it going?
I think we're in the right trajectory because Kenyans have adopted technology well. Right now we have 87% of Kenyans with access, which is a good number. But we need to bridge that to around 95, if not 100%. Number two, we've been placed at around 91 globally. And that's a position we need to now start moving up with. With more innovations, M-Pesa did something great, but we need more innovations that are now better, scalable, and can be used in other places for us to reach the apex of where digitalization is and where the tech world is. But I think we're in a good market, knowing that we are positioned 3-4 in Africa. We are trying. Yes.
It's a big thing.
Yes.
Accessing of government services through tech. What would you place us?
Well, do you need an honest answer?
Yes, please.
The government has tried. I'd not say, because I've been part of trying to do the digitization in most of the governments. But I can say we are 50% there, halfway. Even with the services that are there, like the passports and driving licenses, my problem is accessibility. Half of the time the systems are down.
Yeah.
That is something that is sad. Accessing it takes, the page will keep rotating.
Why that? What happens?
The infrastructure behind it. The government needs to invest.
It's a greater investment on the
Greater
back
investment,
end.
yes. So that somebody with high speeds will do it, but you can see a villager trying from a simple smartphone to access. It will be very hard for them.
Okay.
So they need to do more. They are still doing it. Some counties have taken up very good digitization processes, but I think we need to go
More
ahead.
needs to be done.
Yeah, more needs to be done.
Dr. Karuga, thank you for coming today.
Thank you too.
Dr. Ellen Karuga is the Managing Director of Vista Prime Solutions, Director of Tech at AI Kenya. She's been our guest. We'll be talking about innovation, advancing the digital spaces in Kenya, and women and what they do in it. Thank you for tuning in to Kenya's biggest conversation.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.